Hello, I'm here to talk about the Hot Wheels Car Culture Team Transport Mix 8. That's the second mix in 2020. This series is barely out right now, but I got it online from A&J Toys. This is not a sponsored video, but after doing a lot of comparisons, I've been looking at on Amazon, on eBay, and everything looks super expensive. But A&J Toys sell like the whole cases. They got it straight from Mattel, and with shipping included, it's much cheaper than anything else I've found, and it's actually cheaper than my expectations, which is it's cheaper than my upper limit, which none of the other sellers are. So I actually got this pretty early, and I'm interested in showcasing it to you guys. Now this is the excuse me. This is the Hot Wheels this is weird. Volkswagen Classic Bug. This came in the Car Culture Cruise Boulevard set, and this was the first time the casting is used, which obviously I think it's a good intro talking about these four sets. Now, I haven't been the biggest fan of Hot Wheels premium stuff like Car Culture, especially. I think it's very well done, and after sampling like more than 20 brands, I feel like they have definitely the most consistent quality control, which is quite something, because there's some brands that are like twice as expensive as Hot Wheels that I feel like aren't doing as good of a job. Obviously, these Hot Wheels ones usually only have 4 pieces without counting the wheels and axles, so you would expect it to be easier to quality control fewer pieces. So I think that plays a part in it. But either way, I just don't like the fact that they're not true 1/64. That's honestly my biggest complaint. And also, they could have used a few more pieces in some examples, one of which will be in this set. But I have been a huge fan of the Team Transport series, just because like haulers and bigger stuff has been pretty popular in 1/64, and they're pretty hard to get. There are some other examples, but I mean, obviously the most expensive stuff will be the Time and Cut Limited Vintage stuff, which is so out of reach. Mini GT just released their Mercedes-Benz Actros hauler, which looks super cool, but again, it's like $80, which no. A good alternative for these like multi-car transports, I think, would be M2 machines, which I hope to get in a later day, because I made a few big purchases recently, and I'm kind of slowing it down. But so that would be a good alternative. You can get it for like $20-30. That can haul, I think, at least 4, maybe 5 cars. I'm not quite sure. But with the smaller stuff, even with like the single car haulers, there are a few alternatives. You do get like may still have their own range of elite transports, which I think looks cool. You can get them for actually you can get them for about the same price you can get the Hot Wheels Team Transport, and these don't have licensed haulers either. Obviously, I feel like it's going to be a lot better if it's licensed, but even unlicensed, the Hot Wheels ones are very cool, and they also come in licensed livery. Although I think in this range, the best way to do it will probably be Greenlight, because they have their HD Truck series that gives you a hauler and an actual car, and they're not that expensive. They're like roughly the same price as the Hot Wheels ones, and their haulers are all licensed actual cars. On the other hand, like even the basic stuff, like Matchbox has their real working rigs, and like the international car haulers, like metal cab and everything else is plastic. They're going for like $10 already. With Hot Wheels Car Culture Team Transport, you get the set for $13, but then like the basic, for instance, this set, the basic one in Car Culture in premium will be $7 already. That means this huge hauler, I mean, a lot of it is plastic, but still very heavy feeling hauler will be $6, which in my opinion is a great price for them. But anyway, enough of me talking random stuff. Let's get to it, right? So there are one reason I bought this is my first seal case, is because there are 4 sets in this mix, and which means if you buy a full set, you get 1 of each, which makes everything a lot easier. And these 4 are all new stuff. And I'm gonna start with my the set that's the least interesting to me personally, not because it's not good, because I think it's looking at it objectively, it's probably one of the best in this set, but for me it's a little unexciting because I have both castings, and that is the Momo. It's the Momo set, the Volkswagen, what is it? Volkswagen Transporter T1 pickup. What a great name. And the second release of this VW Classic Beetle. I'm going to look at the car first. So this is pretty much a recolor of, this is the second release of the Classic Bug, and it's pretty much a recolor. It's done in yellow with these Momo livery. You can see right over here there's a little bit of the black missing, so I'm gonna try to detail that in when I get the chance. Like in these like ridges and stuff, it's a lot harder to get the paint in, but I think for the most part Hot Wheels quality control has been very, very consistent. You can see here there's actually I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit more. Oh, that looks really nice. I do like these turntables. Come on, keep on working. Here you see it, the license plate says Vollmond, which is German for full moon, which maybe has some significance for Momo specifically, but I feel like it's probably just a reference to like, no, not Momo, like for Moon Eyes, but I feel like it's just a reference like moon, you know? And I don't know how sturdy this thing is, but I think I tried this and it works. Just gonna put both. Alright, can you work? Barely. Alright, side by side, I think they look really nicely together. I think the Moon Eyes ones is super good looking, but I feel like I'm gonna keep the older one just because it's a bit more stock. And this casting is almost 1/64. I feel like it's a little modified by Hot Wheels, especially it's mostly obvious in the back wheels, which are much larger than the front ones. Overall, I think it's a good looking casting, but if someone likes to customize, I would probably just recommend changing the back wheels to same size as the front, because that just looks a bit weird. I thought Hot Wheels have tried to like be more true to scale, true to proportions, especially with the stuff that's designed specifically for premium release. But I guess this is not the case, which in my opinion is unfortunate, because I would love to see like a true to proportion, true to scale VW Beetle from Hot Wheels. So the car is going to be parked right there out of frame, and let's take a look at the Transporter. Now I love the VW T1, the VW Type 2 microbus design. Like the T1s and the T2s are all really cool. I don't have a T3, so I can't say, but I think it's a little too different for my taste. But I have to say that unfortunately this is out of all of the haulers, even though this is a licensed one, this is my least favorite. Now, not because it's unrealistic, because if you look up like VW T1 pickup, there are pickups that are very similar to this, and if someone actually turns it into a car hauler, this will be it. But I feel like as far as car hauler goes, this thing is so limited in what it can do. It can only haul like the tiny stuff. You can handle the VW Beetle, or in the first release, the 356 Speedster, or the second release was the 356A Outlaw, and that's pretty much it. All these like tiny castings. For instance, this from the same set, this one is barely fits. It's already hitting the top, and you can just imagine what a Mustang will look on it, while like most of the other haulers can accommodate much larger stuff. But overall, I think it's really good looking, and I know it's been blocked, but it does have back tempo as you would expect from a premium release. So it's nice looking, but yeah, I don't love it, unfortunately. So if I have to pick a least favorite, that will have to be it. Now the second one, again, going from least exciting to most exciting, this is pretty exciting because this is my first premium Mustang, which I know is kind of crazy with how popular Mustangs are and all that, and how many Mustangs releases Hot Wheels do. But it's been ages since Hot Wheels have done a premium Mustang. Like in general, muscle cars are just in the in the recent years there hasn't been a lot of premium Mustangs, but if you go back in time, there's a ton of muscle cars. And this is the Mustang Boss 302. It's very cool. It's in the blue Ford race team. It accommodates the custom Ford Galaxy as well as the C800 that we saw end of last year. I don't have that one, and I don't need a Galaxy, and already got the C800 from this set anyway, so unfortunately I can't compare with it, but this thing is super well done. I think it's a little bit bigger than true 164, but still, it's really, really cool. And again, same thing with Hot Wheels premium releases, very clean details, very good quality control. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Not a ton to talk about it. Put it to the side, and this is going to be a challenge. This is the retro rig. This is an unlicensed hauler, but these things don't really need to be licensed, right? Ooh, I probably need to pull it back a little, just so you can still see the whole picture. Let's see. Yeah, now the now the turntable is protesting pretty heavily because this thing is heavy. I'm gonna only go for a couple of revolutions, and for when I get to the Euro hauler, which is the heaviest in this set, I will probably just do one turn. Very nice for the going thing. Obviously, you're not, well, I am buying these sets for the haulers mostly because I think it's really cool, but I would assume for most people this is not the highlight. So I wish it has like front light details, and you see it doesn't. You do see like the turning signals, but yeah, no, these are not detailed. You do see a little texture, but that's from lighting and stuff, so it still makes it look pretty realistic. Yeah, there's no, actually no, there's like tiny bit of tempo. It's really hard to make out, but it looks like it's got nothing. But yeah, no, it has some tempo, which is, I guess it's cool, but would be nice to make it stand out a bit more. And the last two are the ones I'm super excited about. It's hard to choose, but I guess for a third entry it will be the Ford C800 and the 2017 Ford GT Race is how Hot Wheels call it, but this is the new Ford GT. Obviously, it's second generation, and it's the Ford GT LME, and this is a really cool casting. I haven't been the biggest Ford fanboy, but I think this car, like the second generation one, it's just gorgeous thing. And in racing specs as well as racing livery and Castrol looks really good. But this is one of the cases I do have a problem with Hot Wheels premiums, and this time is not 164 because I have a 164 from Greenlight. They're not exactly the same model, but they're pretty close. The Greenlight one is 2019. You see, they're pretty much the same size, which means Hot Wheels one is pretty much true to scale 164. But the problem here being that here you see this is called the flying buttress on the Ford GT, and this is a distinctive part, and it helps aerodynamics to like the air to go from here all the way through here. And you do see a little opening, which on the standard basic Ford GT, not the GT Race, everything is blocked off, so it's nice to have like a little bit of space. You can see my fingers go through there, but you do see also a lot of painted black. I'm actually gonna need a better pointer than my finger for this. This one I got from Kyosho, right? This is all painted black, even though it should be actual just negative space. And if you look at Greenlight, which Greenlight, by the way, does the best 164 for GT, all of this is free space. This is all free space. Ours is close, but a little bit more blocked up than it should be. And I feel like the idea is that Hot Wheels still make their premium models with basic models in mind, and which is, I feel like they should just like spend a couple, I don't know, just like make a special casting for premium ones, use a couple more pieces, it'll be nice, right? But even so, I think the Ford GT Race is still a very good looking casting. And again, like the green light one, you see actual lensed headlights with Hot Wheels is printed, but it's fine because I feel like Hot Wheels really have their headlight printing techniques down to a T. It still looks really good. It's got depth, so it looks pretty three-dimensional. It's very good, like better than Tomica or Meisol. So, and this is something I have kind of a love-hate relationship with. This is the hauler from this set. This is the Ford C800 COE. It's a cab over engine model, and again the I think this is a bit heavy for the turntable because this thing is primarily designed for jewelry. Gonna give it a little bit of a push. Yeah. So this Ford C800, this is a licensed casting. It's based on a real model, but this is where I get a little bit frustrated with Hot Wheels designers because they're really, really talented people. But I also feel like they sometimes have an unhealthy obsession with modifying things. If you look up Ford C800, you will see a lot of different variations, different modes, and you will see this used as a car hauler pretty often. You see it used as a flatbed, you see it as a ramp truck. You never see this configuration, and I think it's for a good reason because, like, how are you supposed to use it? Now, I know all of these car haulers have a bit of a clearance issue, right? Obviously, a car is just not going to like drive on top of that. It's just not happening. But it's just so much more exaggerated in this case. Like, especially for the second part. Like, you're really expecting someone to drive over here. And another problem with this casting is that this is a double-decker, right? But there's so much space constraint because of the way it's set up. For instance, you can't, like, I don't know how well it's showing up on the camera in this angle, but I need to do the lighting a little bit. But if you look at it, the wheels are like, you can't fit it nicely like this, which means if you want it to look nice, you can only put it down here. And obviously every vehicle down here also has a clearance issue depending on how tall they are and how long they are, and I feel like it's just unnecessary. It would be nice to just remove this seesaw catapult thing. Like, what is it designed for? Like launching cars into a General Motors headquarters? But overall, this is a very cool car. I just wish it doesn't come with this, honestly. It's weird, like, it's when I feel bad saying that because I'm complaining that Hot Wheels designers are doing extra work, right? But I honestly appreciate it a bit more if they just forego that bit. So that's the Ford C800 and the GT Race. I'm just gonna put it like that because it's just easier right now, and because that set is so wide, it's taking all of the light throughout the solar system. And last, and my favorite, the one this set I'm most looking forward to, this is the Mercedes-Benz 300 SL. I'm not reading this, I hope I got the name right. 300 SL, yeah, it's a legendary Mercedes race car / sports car. And this is not the first release of this casting. Well, it is the first release of the specific casting, but it's not the first release of the 300 SL. The last one is done in olive green, and it's released as a RLC car with actual opening Gulf wings, which is super cool. But I prefer it like this, a bit more realistic. This one obviously doesn't have the opening Gulf wings. I don't know why I say obviously, because there are a lot of companies that make 1/64 diecast in this range, in this price range, and still able to get opening hoods and opening doors. But on the other hand, Hot Wheels have much better quality control, so it depends on whether I take better quality control or opening features, and I'll take quality control every single time. Although unfortunately, all 6 cars I've shown prior have perfect details. This one doesn't. I don't know if you've picked it up or not. it's pretty subtle. It's hard to see, but you see on the side here. Yeah, this should be black. This should be black. So there's a lot of paint missing. It's not a. I don't know if it's chipped off in package or just never applied. But yeah, this is pretty serious. But it's thankfully it's only black paint, which is very easy to get. I'll probably just nail polish it in on a later date. But I wanted to show you the issue before I detail it. And now this will be the biggest challenge. I'll probably just keep it in my hand as long as possible and just put it on the turntable for one revolution. This is a Euro hauler, and seriously, this is my favorite hauler Haoles has ever done. First of all, it's heavy. It's not the first time that Haoles has done kind of this kind of a box truck, right? You have the Sakura Sprinter, or in this case, they call it the Fleet Flyer, and they pretty much have the same profile. Oh, this is as far as it goes. And you know, they pretty much have the same profile. I'm just gonna put them side by side, right? The Euro hauler is a little bit longer, but they still both have the big boxes, right? Big boxes that actually come over the cab. But for the Fleet Flyer, this part is metal, the base is metal, everything here, this whole container is plastic. With Euro hauler, you can see these are obviously like tabs that you whoever assembled it put the top on, right? The top is plastic, but everything basically under these tabs are full metal. This whole part all the way going to the base is metal, which makes this incredibly heavy. And you could probably, I don't know, kill someone with it if you want to, but that also makes it super heavy, and I really don't want to break my brand new turntable. Thank you, it's actually working, which is pretty amazing. It's got the full detail. This one also has a bit of a paint chip. I'm not putting that on again. It's somewhere over here, but like, yeah, it's missing like a tiny speckle of paint, which is like barely anything. I don't know if I'll actually bother detailing it, and probably will, but it's nothing, right? It's got the full front details and backlights and side paintings. I'm not putting that back on the turntable anymore. It's either gonna break the car or the turntable. I don't like either. IWC Racing, which is apparently like a watch company, which is really cool, and you can open the back like so. It's pretty spacious inside. This looks very nice, yeah. And so this is the Mix A of Hot Wheels Car Culture Team Transport, and I think this is the best best mix ever, which is again why I went out of my way to get them so early, after so soon after release. And bought them at like probably higher than retail, because again, like finding Hot Wheels locally is just pain for me. Especially like the more desirable team transports are almost never able to be found. But like I said, I do like these haulers. I buy these in part for the model, for the cars, and partially for the trucks. And so far there has been 9 different haulers, and I have 8 of them. The only one I'm missing is the wide open, which came with the Plymouth Superbird. But I've actually already worked out a trade with someone, and hopefully I will get it in the next few days. And after I get that, I'll have all 9, and I'll talk about which ones are my favorite and least favorites. But you already know the least favorite will be the VW bus turned pickup car hauler, but I still like it, so it's not going to be like, oh my god, I hate this one or that one. It's not going to be. Just I think it'll be interesting, just kind of as an excuse to put all of these haulers side by side, which is really nice. So we have the VW, we have the Retro Rig Ford C800, the Euro hauler, the Fleet Flyer, Sakura Sprinter, Aerolift, as well as Carry On. So that's 8 releases that I have, and pretty soon I'll get the 9th one, the Wide Open, and I think that will be really cool to look at all of them together side by side. So it's been a long video. Thank you for watching. This has been the Hot Wheels Car Culture Team Transport Mix 8. the second mix from 2020, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.